Joe Farrell says, I do door knocking for garden work, jet washing, outside planning, gutter cleaning. You need to keep your skill set live and have a leaflet to show them. People are genuinely surprised when they're meeting someone prepared to actually do some work in this day and age. So this comment posted 2 hours ago is a perfect lead into the topic that I wanted to discuss today anyways, which is door knocking. And this topic is top of mind for me because I was just on a coaching call a couple days ago with this guy who's just starting a garage door repair and installation company. And he's up against some really stiff competition. And so heading straight into online marketing is not the best route for him because he's not even sure if he's going to be doing this business in 6 months from now. So he needs to test the waters. He needs to do some market research. He needs to find out if this is actually the business for him. And so door knocking is the plan that I laid out for him. And I've talked about this a bunch of times in the last year since my friend Roman and I were door knocking last summer trying to buy properties. And my thinking on this has really matured, and I've put together a really comprehensive plan of attack for somebody who's just getting started and everything that they're going to need in preparation, and then how to execute this door knocking, and then how to measure the results and see if it's actually panning out, if it's something that you should continue doing. And so I'm going to go through the whole list right here. I'm also writing an article on this, and chances are the article will be a lot more organized than the video and maybe a little bit more thorough if there are some things that the video sparks that I didn't get to include. So go to my website. There's a link in the description. You'll find the article there, and there'll probably be like a downloadable checklist or something if this is something that you're trying to take action on right away. So number one, you have to have some kind of branding. So like, let's just take this guy, for example. He's coming off the streets. He doesn't really have a company. He doesn't have a skill set. And if he was to walk up to your door, you would have no idea that he's a professional and what he's there to do. So the first thing he needs to do is secure some branding and make sure that when people see him, they know that he's here to do business. And here's what he needs for branding. So he needs a logo. These days, you don't have to be a graphic designer to come up with a logo. You can use ChatGPT, Midjourney, or one of the other dozens of AI platforms to create as many logos as you want until you come up with something that works. And I've seen some really cool logos now that have been created by AI. So sorry, graphic designers, but your job's kind of going out the window when it comes to logo design. And some of you won't like to hear that, but I hope to hear from you in the comments. Once you have a logo, then go to your local printing shop and talk to them about getting some business cards made and get some shirts made. Like my shirt right here, Adapt Digital Solutions. I have a hat as well because I like to wear hats. So if you like to wear hats, get some hats made too. But if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, most likely you've seen me wearing my branded shirts in almost every video. And that's because I produce these videos during the week, and during the week I'm working. And when I'm working, I'm always wearing my branded clothing. I'm wearing my uniform. I also always wear these brown pants with my uniform, whether I'm doing construction or marketing, it doesn't matter. I like the brown pants with it. It looks like a uniform to me. And so get the shirts made with your brand. Go to like Costco or whatever store that you like to buy clothes at. I like Costco because you can get pants for like $12 a piece, and go buy like 3, 4, 5 pairs of pants so that every day of the week when you're working, you always look the same. That's really important because if you're going to go door knock a neighborhood, you're going to be walking around this neighborhood, many times, and people that you've talked to are going to see you. You want people to recognize you when they see you. When I walk into a store during the week, like people know me because I'm always wearing the same clothes. So if you're out on official business, you always want to be wearing your branded clothes. For business cards, some people think that business cards are obsolete, but if you're knocking doors and you're meeting people and you're shaking hands, you want to have business cards to hand them. Next, and this doesn't have to happen in this exact order, but you're going to either need to file a DBA or an LLC. So a DBA stands for doing business as, and this is a way for you as a sole proprietor a person to operate as a business under a business name. You file a DBA with the Secretary of State. If you don't know what this stuff means, Google it. It's really important for you to understand what a sole proprietorship is and an LLC if you are going into a home service business. If you are planning on having employees or using subcontractors, I recommend doing an LLC instead of a DBA. I did a whole video about this with an expert named Bobby Casey. So if go find that video. I'm sure there'll be a link to it in the description if you are looking to learn more about that stuff. But you'll need some kind of registered business. And that's because for the next step, you're going to be registering a Google My Business listing. You need your business listed on the internet. Google My Business is free, but most likely when you apply to have a business listing on Google Maps, they're going to ask you for some kind of documentation that proves your business is legit. So when you register your DBA or your LLC, make sure you register it at the address that you intend on using for your Google business listing, and that will provide you with the paperwork that you need to get that listing approved. Usually it takes about anywhere from instantly to a couple weeks to get these things approved. So don't dilly-dally, get this thing set up because you're really going to need it later. Two optional things, and it depends on what you're doing, but you might want to get stickers made at the same time that you are getting your business cards and your shirts. Have the printing company set you up with some stickers. And then I recommend starting a Stripe account. Stripe is a payment processor, because if you meet somebody who's ready to pay you some money and they have a credit card, you really want to have a way to be able to accept that payment. So be ready for success. Be ready to accept a payment. Get a Stripe account. When I did it, it took a few minutes. It's pretty easy to do. Okay, so that's all the branding stuff that you need. And it shouldn't cost you more than a couple $100s, and it shouldn't take you more than a week or two to get this stuff in order. But it's really going to help your results and your final results and your confidence to have all this stuff in order. You don't want to be walking up to someone's house in street clothes and trying to sell them something. You don't want to catch people off guard. When they see you, you want them to instantly know that you're here on official business. You're not just here to deliver cookies or whatever. Okay, so next, you need to have a plan. Take it from somebody who didn't exactly have a plan when he started door knocking. When the first person answered the door and I was like, crap, what am I supposed to say now? Like, that's the hard way. You don't need to do it the hard way. You can if you like to live on the edge of your seat, but I suggest having a plan. And so what a plan looks like to me is I would go to Google Sheets and start a spreadsheet for this. Spreadsheets are amazing for tracking a lot of data. You can use like a notebook or something if you want. You can use a CRM. I recommend using a spreadsheet, and Google Sheets is free to use. And what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what area are you going to go knock these doors. And the idea is that you're not just going to knock the doors, you're going to talk to all the people in this certain area. So usually you'll pick like a neighborhood or something, like a few hundred houses. And you're not just going to go knock these doors once and never come back. You're going to keep knocking these doors, but you need to keep track of which ones you talk to, which ones you leave a business card or a flyer, and just track all this stuff so that you know what you're doing. You don't want to be knocking the same doors twice if people asked you or they told you no, but you also don't want to be skipping over houses just because nobody answered the first time. You want to be hitting these over and over again and do everything you can to talk to as many of the homeowners here as possible. So you pick your neighborhood, you have your spreadsheet, find a way to fill that spreadsheet with the addresses you're going to go visit. And I think you can use AI for this now. There's a lot of tools online, but you basically want to plan your route. You want to decide ahead of time, like, okay, I'm going to go knock 20 doors in the evening between 6 and 7, 5 days a week or whatever. Make your plan, decide what you're going to do, build your list of addresses, and then go hit those specific addresses and track what happens. Nobody answered. Somebody answered, it's a renter. They gave me the number to the landlord. Someone answered, said no. Like, you want to track all this stuff And the more data you track now, the better. In the beginning, it's better to track more than you need, because as you go, you'll start to see like, okay, I don't really need to track that anymore, or I don't need to write that down. But it might be really handy for you to have an average number of how many times you have to knock a door to actually reach somebody. And these average numbers are going to be your best friend later on, which is one of the main reasons why we track all this stuff. So have your plan, know who you're going to knock, how you're going to track it, have an idea of what you're going to track. And then next, you need to have an idea of what you're going to say. And this is going to really depend on what exactly your business is. This guy that I was talking to, he was a garage door repair and installation business. So what immediately came to mind for me is to knock the doors, introduce myself, and say, hey, I live nearby. This is my company, and I'm offering everyone in this neighborhood a free garage door inspection. I will grease the wheels, I'll lube everything up. If there's any loose nuts and bolts, I'll tighten them. Basically just a free checkup to see what's going on with your garage door. And it's a pretty easy offer. It doesn't cost them any money. You don't even have to go inside their house. They'll open their garage, you walk around, you look at it. And that gives you the opportunity to see, is there anything wrong? When you go look at a whole bunch of garage doors in the same neighborhood, you're going to learn some things. There's probably stickers from the companies that installed them, so you can get an idea of who else is working this area. You'll get an idea of, what state of disrepair these garage doors are in, because maybe they were all installed 15 years ago and most of them haven't been serviced. Basically, you just want to get your hands and your eyes on as many of these garage doors as possible and look for something that's wrong. If you find one that needs repair, then you can create an estimate right there on the spot. And maybe in the beginning, your estimate is something as simple as writing down what it is and the price on your business card and asking the homeowner to take a picture of it. I recommend having them take a picture, because people will lose your business card in about 5 seconds, but they won't lose their phone. And so if they have a picture of it on their phone, they'll never lose it. And so most of the garage doors that you look at will not need any serious repair, but maybe some of them will need a slight tweak, a fix, a couple bolts tightened down, maybe some grease. And so this is a really good opportunity for you to bring the homeowner out and say, hey, everything looks good, but the wheels are pretty creaky and the spring probably has a couple more years left in it. I'll tell you what, I'll grease the wheels and I'll tighten down these nuts and bolts, and that'll get you a couple more years. And I'll do that for free if you're willing to just give me a review on my Google listing. And most people will say, oh yeah, that sounds like a great deal. And so do a little bit of work for them. Probably won't take you more than 5 minutes. Get that review and shake their hand. Ask them if they know anyone else in their neighborhood that you should talk to, and see if they even know their neighbors. Hey, do you know your neighbors? If you do, well, do you think I should talk to them? Try to find any way so that when you go knock that neighbor's house, you can say, hey, I just helped Jen across the street with her garage door. I did it for free. She was really happy. She left me a Google review, and she told me I should come over here and check your garage door because it's probably in the same state as hers. And that person's going to be like, oh, okay, well, sure. And so now you're turning one yes into another yes. And so some kind of sequence like that. You want to have some offer that's like so easy to say yes to that there's no downside. And you want to try to create the opportunity to get an estimate out there and maybe get a paying customer. But more importantly, you want to get those reviews. If you go do this for a couple months and you could easily build up hundreds of reviews in a few months of doing this. You will immediately be killing most of your competition, chances are. At least that's how it was for this guy. In a few weeks of doing this, he could have more reviews than his competitors, and those reviews will turn around and cause other homeowners in his area to call him for service. So now he's not offering anything for free. He's being asked to provide estimates and come fix things. So, door knocking isn't the end all be all. It's you're trying to get to a point where you have people coming to you. At least that's how I am. So whatever your service is, like find some way, if it's a garage door or an air conditioner or something like that, it's pretty easy to go in and inspect something, but try to just get your way in, get your foot in the door, do something valuable for them so they're willing to leave you a review, and try to turn that into the opening for the next opportunity. So earlier I mentioned stickers, and for this guy, stickers really made sense. Because let's say that he goes in, he inspects a garage door, he greases everything, tightens everything down, tells the person, hey, it looks like you've got another year or two on this. I'm going to put my, I come check it out. I put my sticker here. My sticker has my cell phone number. If you ever have any issues with this door, just give me a call. I'll come right over. I live right down the street and I'll fix it for you. Matter of fact, pull out your phone and take a picture of it in case you aren't home and your neighbor calls and they said your garage door is broken. You can just call me because you'll have my number. And so now your sticker's on their door, and now they have your phone number on their phone again. It's really important. You want them to have your phone number on their phone, because not only will they always have it, and if they think of anything garage door related, they'll think, oh, you know what? I have this guy's picture of this guy's phone number. But also, if they talk to anybody else who's having this issue, they'll be like, hey, you know what? I have this guy's number on my phone. Let me send it to you. They'll send them the picture, and boom, now you just got a referral from a door that you knocked and you did a 5-minute inspection and greased their wheels a little bit. All you got to do is grease some wheels. So you go through, you do this, you track everything. A few things happen. One, you get an idea of the market that you're dealing with. If you go inspect 100 garage doors, you're going to find out who installed these doors, how often are they maintained, is there a lot of disrepair, or are they all in good shape? You can ask people what other companies they work with. You can get an idea of what's going on in your neighborhood in regards to your industry. Also, you're going to have a trail of happy people and happy customers behind you. Even if they weren't paying customers, if they had a good experience dealing with you, if they know what you have to offer, then they can become customers or repeat customers down the line. They can refer other people to you, and they hopefully left you reviews, and you're building up some kind of momentum here. Also, you'll have the data. If you track all this stuff in your spreadsheet, you'll know how many doors you need to knock to talk to somebody, and you'll know how many conversations or how many people you need to talk to get someone to say yes to a free inspection. And you'll know how many free inspections it takes to give an estimate and how many it takes to do a free quick service and get a review. You'll be able to average all these things out, and you'll know eventually you'll be making money doing this, and you'll know, like, I need to knock this many doors to make this much money. And when you have that number, then you can just go choose to make as much money as you want, as long as you're able to knock that many doors. And finally, probably the most important thing you get out of this is you are building up your skill set. You're building up your ability to go talk to people who don't know who you are, to sell your services, to offer your offers, to gather data and research your market, to sell. Like, if you do this, if you go knock 1,000 doors and you go through this process, you will be 100 times better at selling things any other way. And it'll give you a lot of confidence knowing that no matter what happens, you can just go pound the pavement and knock on some doors and turn that into a business, turn that into income. So if you're new to business, this is probably one of the best places to start for most of you, because this guy, for example, he can go do this for a few weeks, a few months, and then look at everything that he's accomplished and decide whether or not to continue doing that business, or maybe take his business to another area and do the same thing and test that area. But he'll also know that no matter what happens, he can rely on himself to go out and get business. So don't be afraid of door knocking. I know there's a lot of door knocking haters out there. Obviously, there's going to be some neighborhoods where you don't want to door knock. The nice thing for you is you get to pick where you go. So I didn't mention people who've been in business a long time. Most of the people I talk to, because I have a marketing company, so I talk to people who are looking for help in this regard. That means that they have certain challenges acquiring enough customers. And so A lot of them have been in business a long time. A lot of them have jobs going right now, but they want to secure jobs for the future, keep all their guys busy. If you're out doing projects, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to go knock 3 or 4 houses down from each side of whatever house you're at and do exactly what I said. And every time you have a customer, ask them, hey, do you know your neighbors? Do you think any of your neighbors should talk to me? I'm going to go knock on their door, and turn every customer you have into more opportunities. And if you get really good at doing that, you won't have any problems. You will never have to call somebody like me and ask for help with your marketing. So now that we've covered this topic pretty thoroughly, I think it might be fun to look back at some of the comments from the last few months about door knocking and respond to these folks.
All right, so we've got Dream Therapy TV from 3 months ago. He commented on one of our previous door knocking videos, and he said, I remodel bathrooms. Can you give me a door pitch, please?
I remodel bathrooms. So when trying to come up with a pitch at the front door, like I covered in the video, you want to offer something that's really easy to say yes to and that doesn't have a lot of downsides. So like for remodeling, like a really simple one would just be like, hey, I remodel bathrooms and I'm able to put together a ballpark estimate in less than 5 minutes. Is remodeling your bathroom something you've been thinking about doing? And maybe try that for a while. If you remodel bathrooms, then you probably remodel more than just bathrooms, or at least you're capable of doing it. And so I might even approach it more like a handyman type thing and just be like, hey, I'm a bathroom remodeler, but I also build additions and do handyman stuff. Like, is there anything around your house that's been bothering you? And just try to talk to somebody and look for the opportunity. Something that I did a long time ago, and it wasn't exactly in this context, but there was somebody I was working for, and I noticed that their gate was messed up. Like it didn't shut properly. It was dragging on the ground. And so I just offered, I said, hey, if I fix your gate really quick, would you leave me a Google review? And they were happy to do that. I sent 1 or 2 screws through the top hinge, raised the whole gate up, made it work. It took me like 1 minute and a couple screws, but I made that person really happy. So as a remodeler, you probably have a pretty wide skill set. You can fix a lot of things. So I would just go in and introduce yourself, smile, and try to sniff out anything that's messed up with their house, especially something that can be fixed really easily. Because even if they're not looking for a bathroom remodel today, if you give them a really good experience, you get a review from them, and you just let them know that you remodel bathrooms and also X, Y, and Z, then now you might have that person call you back sometime and say, oh, you know what? We actually are thinking about remodeling our kitchen, and I think you said you did that. Is that something that you would be interested in? And like the most valuable asset for a remodeling company is to have a trail of happy customers behind you that know that you have other things to offer, and people that will have you back to fix everything at their house. That's been our bread and butter at Kyle Construction for multiple decades. Like we go in, we do any kind of job with any customer, and the majority of them look at us as their contractor for life, and they call us for everything that they need. And we happen to do everything, so we go out of our way to do whatever our customers want. So for bathroom remodels, going door to door, it's more about opening up the conversation. Try to sniff out something that you can help them with, something that you can fix really quick. Maybe they do want an estimate. Be prepared to create an estimate really quickly and like move things forward. If you go knock enough doors, you will find somebody who is ready to hire you to remodel their bathroom. If you can give them an estimate, put them on the schedule, and take their deposit right then and there, you can go home tonight and eat dinner knowing that you started with nothing and now you have a remodeling project. Totally not unheard of. So I think that's what I have to say about bathroom remodels.
Yeah, that's some really good advice. And I think that covers a lot of the other industries too, of just approaching it like a handyman. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Like even if you just end up taking some old lady's garbage out, and in exchange for a review, like that's worth it. Anything you can do to make them happy so that they'll have you back, refer you to others, and give you a review, like just do it. It's no sweat off your back to do something really easy for them. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into, I only remodel bathrooms, therefore I am only here to remodel a bathroom. If you are door knocking and you're representing yourself, you can do just about anything for these people. So just be ready to do anything valuable for them in exchange for some other value for you. And you'll find that there's actually a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah. We've got another comment here from Mario 9 months ago that totally confirms what you just said. He says that he spends about 1 hour per day walking and hanging business cards on doors, which incidentally completes his walking exercise. He says that out of 100 cards, I average 17 calls and actually go to 3 homes to give an estimate on a painting job. While I'm there, I'm scanning for other things such as dripping faucet, dirty air conditioning, clogged up dryer vent, dirty AC vents. I also offer a $50 referral fee. When I do a job, I give a $50 discount if they allow me to place a sign in front of their house. Another thing I do is place business cards on the customer's neighbors' doors while I'm working every day at the location.
Yeah.
I send happy birthday cards, happy holidays cards to previous companies or to previous customers. The point is to always be in front of your customers and they will always send you referrals.
Yeah, this guy knows what's up. And I'm glad he mentioned the referrals thing, because that's actually something I meant to include, is that have some kind of referral, a plan for a referral system. So, hey, if you refer me another customer, I'll give you $100 or whatever, like some kind of reward for them for referring you to someone. And again, you're not just trying to get the referral, you're just trying to get the door opened for the next conversation or 2 or 3. So if they refer you, you don't have to give them $100 for nothing. You only give them $100 if you get that job. And so nobody really has anything to lose. But if you can go to someone's house and knock on their door or call them and say, hey, Judy referred me to you. She told me I should call you about X, Y, and Z. That is a lot better than just knocking a door cold and talking to someone that you don't have any kind of connection to. So referrals is great. This guy said that he's looking for other things. So he's doing painting, but he's looking at their HVAC, all sorts of stuff. And so you can turn door knocking into its own business. You could have a handful of other contractors that you refer projects to, and your job is just to go knock doors, talk to people, and sniff out what kind of services that they need, and then connecting them with people that can help them. And so, going out and being able to just develop relationships with people is what this is all about. And the amount of ways that you can be valuable to them and they can be valuable to you is like almost limitless.
Yeah, that's super powerful to have a network of people that you can refer to and turn more conversations into more business while helping other fellow business owners.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've got one more comment here that just further proves the power of door knocking. This one's from Hermanson King 1137, 10 months ago. He says, I just started doing door-to-door sales for my new restoration business. 5 days of canvassing. I got 2 roof and gutter cleaning jobs for $1,200 total and an $8,000 asphalt ceiling contract. That's huge.
So this guy's doing a restoration company, which is typically like mold and water damage, but he's doing gutter cleaning and asphalt sealing. So that's like, he's doing what that first guy said of like, have a diverse skill set, have a diverse offering. You can find a few things that you can do. If you're driving around, you can have a pressure washer in your car, you can have a ladder. Like, be ready to offer a few different things, because like at the end of the day, especially if you're just getting started, like you just need people who are willing to leave you reviews, refer you to others, have you back, and of course pay you money. And there's a few other YouTubers I've seen where their whole YouTube channel is them going door to door and finding people that'll pay them to like wash windows and stuff. So washing windows, that's another good one. I can't stress enough, like, we do online marketing. So we do websites, Google, advertising, all this stuff. And people like fall in love with this idea that they could just click a few buttons or like, put their credit card in and then just get all the customers they want. But that's just not how it works. And like, to be able to go out and spend 5 days knocking and make, this guy probably made like 5-6 grand profit. Like, that is more than a lot of people are making. And this guy didn't have to spend a lot of time trying to do all these other strategies. Like, don't get me wrong, online marketing works, obviously, but you are competing against companies who are better at it than you are. But when you go door to door, a lot of times you're not competing with very many people because people are too lazy and too scared to actually go knock on doors these days. And Roman and you and I learned that last year when we were knocking doors looking for properties to buy. So many people told us that they get multiple flyers and pieces of mail every day from people wanting to buy their house. But I had so many people tell me, but I'm the first person they've ever actually had knock their door and talk to them. And so they throw away all this mail, all these flyers, they ignore the ads, they ignore the cold callers. But since I knocked on their door, they talked to me. I had multiple people tell me that. And we didn't knock that many doors relatively because, the nature of what we were doing. But it works really well, and the competition isn't that thick for it, especially for these kind of industries, bathroom remodeling, garage doors. If you're in solar or HVAC, you probably are going to have the most competition with door knockers, especially solar. But Roman, you and I know a financial advisor that gets all of his customers door knocking, right?
Yep.
And he just makes it a point, like, I don't know what his schedule is, like once a week he goes and knocks doors in the afternoon or something like that. He's been
Exactly.
doing that.
Yeah, and it's a super simple pitch. It's just, hey, I live in the neighborhood, and if you ever need anything, let me know. By the way, here's what I do for a living. Here's my card if you ever need that. And it's simple and it works. And he's done it now in 3 different cities that he's lived in. And he's made his whole living off of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so he's probably super good at it, and like he told you about what he does and you're kind of repeating what he says. But that's how it goes. Like, you're not there to just sell them something. You're there to connect with them for a minute, have a conversation, learn something about them. They learn something about you. Whether there's a transaction or not, you just want both people to part from that conversation feeling good about it. And that's a skill. And you're not going to be, you might not be good at it at first, but that's the goal. Like, if you can just go talk to people and then end the conversation on a good note more times than not, you will get work. Like, the work will find you, the money will find you.
Definitely.
And if you track it in a spreadsheet, you'll know exactly how many people you need to talk to get some money.
Yep, 100%.
Let's see, we got any more comments? Oh, okay, this is the Benjamin Hutchins guy. You did send me that one. This is a different one, though. He said, update, I've done about 300 door flyers and about the same amount of mailers. I've gotten equal amounts of calls from both. I made my flyers personal with a picture of me on the front. The calls I've got said that they called because it looked like someone they could trust and would answer their phone. Also, just from one mailer, I'm giving an estimate for siding for their whole house, redoing the kitchen and deck. I don't need 100 leads, just a few good ones. My company is a 2-man crew, so we can only take on so many jobs. That's another really good tip, is when you have like a flyer, put a picture of you on it, wearing your branded clothing, wearing your uniform. Like, have a picture of you looking exactly how you're going to look when you knock on their door. Because if you're leaving flyers, you should be circling back around and knocking this door again later and just trying to talk to somebody. And if they answer the door, the best thing that you could hope for is that they're like, hey, you're the guy from the flyer. You want them to recognize you because people like people and things that they recognize. And so when you're door knocking, especially for yourself, like, you are your brand. So you want to look the same all the time. You want to have a smile on your face. You want people to recognize you. And the more that they recognize you, the more that they will hire you to do stuff. Like, guaranteed. That's half of marketing, is just making sure people are aware of you. So if they recognize you, it means they're aware of you. If you talk to them, make sure that they know what you have to offer, and don't be afraid to knock the same doors like once a year or whatever, once a quarter. Whatever you decide makes sense for you. If you knock the same door every year and you have a great conversation with someone over and over again, like, they're 100% going to hire you if they need your services. If you like what I said in this video and you're trying to come up with a plan, but you want some help any part of this process, I do offer a consultation service where you and I can sit down for an hour and I'll go through your entire business plan, your marketing strategy with you, and help you iron out every detail so that you can go off and just take action. So if you're interested in doing that 1 hour call with me, find the link for it and go check out the details on that. Oh, and subscribe to the channel because I put out content like this all the time, and you definitely want to be alerted when I come out with a new video.